Oh my god, Kristen Tatar has a broken rib? The world is about to end. That and the Pro Tour is back. This time, starting the West Coast swing, so you already know we have complaining to talk about. What's up, disgenerates? It's the disc golf world. I'm Jefferson, and as always, alongside me, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese. Before we get into the OTB Open recap, we gotta talk about this Kristen Tatar injury breaking news. Last night, she made this post over on Instagram. She said in a freak accident while doing some home renovations, she stumbled, which resulted in a broken rib. This, of course, led to the decision of dropping out of the Portland Open and Beaver State Fling. Tatar has had a great season so far, although I think most fans believe she's been underperforming. I mean, some people really thought she was going to win every single event she played. Yeah, pretty dumb prediction, but that was seriously a thing. Now, she won't be able to throw a disc for the next 4 weeks. At least this will give her plenty of time to draw. The next time we'll see Tatar competing will be at the Krokel Open, which takes place July 12th. That's a lot of time away from competition, and with the field seeming to be playing at an all-time high, I don't know how easy it will be for Kristen to jump right back in. Don't get me wrong, she'll still be out there on top, but the FPO has already completed 2 majors this year, and neither went Tatar's way. Could you imagine if she went Grand Slam one year, only to not get any the next? That'd be pretty insane. Probably not going to happen, but still would be insane. I'm confident that she'll come back better than ever. If anything, I think the extended break might be beneficial for the mental side of her game. I know she said she was eager coming back to the States, but there's also got to be a part of her that is okay with not having to leave her home country, family, friends, and her life outside of disc golf just to play Milo. I mean, I would sell my brother for that opportunity, but I would understand why Tatar wouldn't be all that mad at staying home for an extra month with her daughter. The biggest controversy from the weekend was the diver making the OBJ one-handed grab midair on Madison Walker's drive. Probably not the smartest decision to snag it like disc golf Steve Bartman. Of course, every social media platform was all over how bad of a decision the spotter made. Some making claims that it even had a chance of going over and needing to see the flight until the very end. All for Madison to tell everyone to take a chill pill. I mean, first the People's commentator Zach Melton made this tweet, saying that he talked to Madison and even she said it had no chance of going in bounds. Should this give the spotter the opportunity to display his Brodie Smith ultimate skills? Probably not. But when the player herself is saying no one should freak out, I think we can all agree it wasn't that big of a deal. That's not what social media will tell you, but hey, what's new? To me, it's a one-time accident that we didn't see after, so I'm not going to get upset about this debacle. I mean, I'm still fuming that I'm going to have to watch next year's Champions Cup at this course. If you want to hear more about that change, check out last episode of This Week in Disc Golf for what Swiss had to say on that matter. But I'll give my quick 2 cents here, because I know everyone cares so much. Just like the rest of the internet, I think it's pretty dumb to set up this wooded major and then abandon that idea. Some will argue that the major is only 3 years into its life and they can do whatever they want with it. My mindset is, once you mess it up, it's ruined forever. Maybe that's just my perspective, but I will not accept the so-called low ceiling open be the equivalent to the oh my god there's trees everywhere major. I think possibly the future plans for this major have changed. Instead of being the extremely difficult wooded event, it might become the moving major. Back in 2018, Steve Dodge and Nate Heinold had an idea that there would be a 4th major that would move every year to where it makes sense geographically with the tour schedule. This way, it made sense for players traveling as well as giving an opportunity all over the country for fans to see the top level play. Basically, they would take an existing Pro Tour event and just turn that into a major, and that year, that's how they would play the event. No double dipping on points. Let me know in the comments what you would rather see, a wooded major or the traveling one. Because based on the reactions online, it seemed pretty much everyone was pissed. However, the dgpt did make a great decision regarding the DGN app and watching live disc golf, increasing the standard package to now allowing 6 different devices instead of the 2 that they had before, right when I had to go buy a subscription too. Must have figured if you're going to be more expensive than Netflix, probably should offer more screens. At least now, you Redditors know Big Brother is listening, so make sure to be who am I kidding? It's Reddit. You guys aren't going to be respectful. On that note, Swiss, hit the people with the FPO recap.
The OTB Open has seen the same winner, Paige Pierce, take down this event for the past 3 tournaments and go undefeated here. With that record, the best in the game, Kristen Tatar, skipping California, like me avoiding conversations with anybody who's wearing overalls, along with other notable European names in Evelina Salonen and Henna Blumroos also not making the stop, the DGBT queued up the Paige's back storyline for the weekend, only for the sport's besties in Ella and Holland to take over the narrative with stellar play that saw the 2 battle on the final day. But before that, Kat Mertz kicked off the action early on day 1, coming out of the gate strong while on one of the first cards of the day. Would go 6 under on the front 9 to take an early lead. Looked in control on her drives, leading in tee to green on day 1. Would stay clean for the entire round while also having a strong performance on the putting green. Would add 2 more birdies on the first 3 holes of the back 9, but would not register another birdie for the remainder of the back half with 6 straight pars. As her putt failed her late, missing 3 C1X putts, including on the final 2 holes, and resulted in her finishing 8 under for the day. That 8 under would be enough for an early lead and a day 2 lead card, just not on the top of it. Holyn Handley came out with her game face and aviators on, only a windbreaker and a coffee away from looking like she's part of an FBI manhunt to find Dr. Richard Kimball. The look was working though, as she started 4 down on the first 4 holes. Would pick up 3 more birdies on the softer front 9, starting off with a 7 under through 9 holes, only seeing 1 putt outside 20 feet in that stretch. With a birdie on 10 was already enough to be on the leaderboard for day 2. Holyn's friend Ella Hansen on Feature Card, who after starting the season on the podium at chess.com, had most of the community expecting a breakout season, only for her not to see the podium for the next 6 dgpt or major events. She would have a hot start, going 3 down on the first 4 holes, looking to catch up to Holyn, but would find OB on hole 5 with a costly 3-putt, resulting in a double bogey, putting a complete halt to the solid start. Fortunately for Ella, she would not find OB for the remainder of the tournament, but got right back on that birdie train with 2 birdies after placing her disc in the bullseye for 2 straight holes right after that bogey. Would cap the front 9 with another birdie, starting 4 under despite that double bogey. About the time Holyn found OB herself for the first time on the round, resulting in a bogey also, her first for the day. Wouldn't be her last, as she would add another bogey after a costly 2-putt on 15. But still registered birdies on 13, 16, and most importantly, 18, finishing 8 under on the day and giving her a lead that had the remaining field chasing. Though Paige hit some highlight C2 putts that coverage was blowing things up like a Louisville police officer, only Ella had a chance to be able to put enough together on the back half to make a push to catch Holyn, which if she did, still wouldn't top that catch the diver did on Madison Walker's drive on 7. That should have made an ESPN's top 10. Which was about the same amount of times Ian's ass said bruh on coverage after seeing that catch.
What, bro?
Setting many fans' outrage over the disc not having the opportunity to experience its full flight, despite the player Madison being grateful and taking her disc as she walked to the drop zone instead of re-teeing, which means she didn't make a big deal out of it, despite her having the authority to, but instead chose to do the right thing. However, some feel the need to blow this up far larger than it needs to be, and trying to make this into a black eye on the sport, or worse, showing how unprofessional our game is. Some going as far as attacking a diver who spent the entire week in the water looking for pros' discs. It's sad that that was most of the talk, instead of that Ella's 67-foot throw-in on 15. Followed that up with a park job on 16 for a total of 4 birdies on the back half, and finished 8 under and a stroke off friend Holyn. The two would separate from the pack on day 2, and no less than 6 strokes better than the next closest competitor in the field. Both finished with double-digit unders on the round, Ella with a 12 under and Holyn with an 11, finishing tied heading into the final day, both looking for their first Elite Series win. Holyn started day 2 4 under on the front 4 holes for the second day in a row, on her way to another 8 under through the first 10 holes. While Ella rattled off 6 straight birdies during the middle holes, including 4 more birdies than Holyn on the back half. The stage was set for a battle at the top among friends that had me and others excited for the final day action after their dominating day 2 performance, which has been missing at most FPO events that Tatar has not attended. The storyline was great. 2 friends looking to exercise their past final round hiccups that have become the narrative for both in their short careers. That saw some heartbreak like Ella's blow up at Waco and Portland, or Holyn's melting under the spotlight at this year's MCO despite a lead. With the audience eagerly waiting for a battle similar to Eagle and Simon's D-Glow finish last year, instead saw Holyn stumble out of the gates, going 1 over after 2 bogeys on the first 4 holes, where she only went 8 under combined the first 2 days, giving Ella an early 3-stroke lead, only to extend it to 4 on the very next hole after a 51-foot C2 putt that just barely sunk in. Holyn looked as though the nerves got to her yet again, with early releases and errant OB throws that put her behind early, while Ella looked strong and composed and separating from Holyn, only for her to allow her right back into the contest after a horrendous hole 7 that saw an ugly 3-putt from Ella in C1, resulting in a bogey and her lead being cut down to a single stroke after that 2-stroke swing. Credit needs to go to Ella, who regained her composure, birdieing the very next 2 holes. And after Holland would find OB on 9 and 10, gave Ella a 6-stroke lead and a stranglehold on the tournament, which made the remainder of the action slow and dull as the coverage sputtered to a finish, with Ella playing safe and the remaining 3 on the lead card battling for 2nd and 3rd, as Holland's round tailspinned worse than that Nuggets lead, going OB 6 total times, twice on 16 alone. Yet her OB throw on 18 would cost her a 2nd place finish, as Kat moved into the spot after a birdie and a 2-stroke swing on the final hole. Shit, Holland was an uncharacteristic C1 missed putt from Owen from having to share that 3rd place finish also. Holland finished 3 over on the final day as the chatter continues to chase her around with another poor final day performance of her career, yet was still alongside many other pros, getting covered in champagne for Ella's first Elite Series win. This is a big win for Ella, as many expected her to break through for a victory at some point. For her to do it with a dominating performance saved what was a very dull finish to what was an otherwise great FPO action the 2 days prior. Hopefully this gives Ella the confidence heading into a stretch that suits her game. And with Kristen Tatar now missing 4 weeks due to a rib injury, might be what the FPO needs also. With Portland 2 weeks away, where she has podium in the past, while getting full on some home cooking, Ella could be in position for a run.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Over on the MPO side, we had the resurgence of Paul McBeth coming out day 1, putting up the hot round with a clean 10 under, along with 6-time world champion butt dialer Adam Hammes. Too bad they wouldn't be able to hold on to that, as most of the lead card would disappear after the beautiful conditions on day 2. It allowed the best mustache in disc golf to take the lead, jumping up 5 spots with a 10 under and a stroke lead over Calvin Heimberg, who put together a 9 down himself. The only mistake was the bogey on 18 that allowed Rathbun to sneak into first place. Now for back-to-back events, we'd see a battle between these 2 players. And honestly, I'm a fan. Homies, which was Dynamic's bigger fumble? Letting Gavin walk away or Kona's contract? I really don't care which one you pick. They're both worse than the Mark Sanchez butt fumble if you ask me. Also, Ezra Aderhold with a tournament hot round of 13 down, pushing him up the leaderboard 47 spots and onto the lead card for the final day. Must have been motivated by his new Championship Sunday drip that he got from Baby Gap. Rathbun did show promise through the first holes, and after starting the DDO with a double bogey, that was really good to see. After a few pars, Heimberg could smell the blood in the water and went on a birdie holes 3, 4, and 5, giving him the outright lead. He found his first bit of trouble on hole 6 after a missed up shot that resulted in his only bogey on the round. Secured birdies in the next 3 holes, adding 4 more on the round, which doesn't include his layup on 18 for the win. Calvin now has 2 victories this season, quieting the haters whose doubts were rising higher than the diver catching Madison's disc. I mean, that was the only reason I could see why that dude would do that. Gavin was able to hold on to 2nd place, giving him his 4th top 10 this year, which is the best he's ever done in a single season. His closest was in 2021 before the shoulder injury. You know, back when everyone was on the Rathbun hype train. Even we had an interview with him back then, and that was 2 years before Disc Golf World was even born. Some of us never got off that train, and for those that want to get back on, call us the Polar Express, because all aboard. In 3rd place, Randon Lauda shot up 12 spots with an incredible 13 under with 11 birdies, and even an eagle on hole 5 with a 20-foot putt. Well, that's if you believe the person doing stats. And I do not. Gavin Babcock with a sneaky top 5 finish with a 10 down final round, ending in a tie with Sully Tipton at 22 under.
Ezra Aderhold had an up and down weekend. Started only 2 under after day 1, after only registering 4 birdies on the easy track. Responded with an electric 13 under on day 2, tied for the hot round for the entire weekend that rocketed him up 47 places onto the lead card heading into the final day, only 3 strokes off the leader. Led off the day with a bogey, or maybe I should say birdogey, as he airballed his first putt of the round, only for him to go 6 under over the next 8 holes. That included an eagle on 6, one of the 2 all weekend, as he was right there alongside both Gavin and Vinny, only to follow it with a double bogey on 10, throwing 2 OB strokes on the hole. knocking him from contention and what would contribute to the drop all the way to a 6th place finish. Ricky would have a classic Ricky finish with a full-blown pop collar and that sake bomb chain drip like a high schooler after their first paycheck. Would go bogey-free for an 11-under round following his worst performance of the weekend on day 2. Rick's 11-under day was only second to Randon's final round and Ezra's day 2 for the entire weekend. Hit 5 C2 putts, his longest being a 56-footer par save on 10, and that's on top of an 87-foot throw-in. Rick finished just a stroke behind his 4th straight top 5 finish at elite events, as his solid play continues. Ezra Robinson's fresh off his victory at Santa Cruz looked to continue his hot run this weekend. Yet like Rick, had a poor day 2 that shot his weekend in the foot. Ezra only needs to look at the putting green, missing 11 C1X putts over the entire weekend, 8 alone on the first 2 days. To Ezra's credit, though, only 4 of those resulted in bogeys, as he was in position to score enough to put himself in a far better position on the leaderboard. And though this 8th place finish is solid, after that putting performance, I'm sure he's left wondering what could have been. Zachary Nash had his best finish at a dgpt event of his short career. Sure, he might not be a name most recognized, but this finish netted him the biggest payday since his NADGT National Championship win in 2022. The 20-under 8th place finish was the best finish at an Elite Series event thus far, smashing his previous DGBT best, a 36th place at DDO just 2 weeks prior. Nash had the best putting performance over the weekend from inside the circle, missing only 1 putt over the 3 rounds, and finished behind only Yuli for strokes gained putting. Nash seems to be moving in the right direction, as this finish should be a big confidence boost moving forward.
Rounding out the top 10 in a 3-way tie, you had the master on the grill, Garrett Gurthie, the first drafted in a disc golf pickup basketball game, Andrew Marweed, and the wannabe towel boy, Robert Burridge. Now for some weekend quick hitters. Drew Gibson is penalized by the 5-minute rule by 7 seconds. For all you complaining about this rule, can we all be honest real quick? 7 seconds is a long time, and I will not disrespect that. And if anything, 7 seconds is way too long. Like 4 seconds too fast if you ask me. Eagle McMahon finished in 13th place, maybe a sign moving forward for the rest of the season. Kat Mertz shows off her 2nd place trophy. Hopefully Brody doesn't see that one. Ezra Robinson in tears after finishing The Office. I saw him more as a friends guy personally. Scott Stokely shows off the old guy still gots it. The OTB Open had the largest Elite Series purse to date, so that's something to celebrate. Quick shout out to Zach Melton, who has proved over and over this year he needs to be mic'd up at all times. The Melon Berry duo was a success. Meme of the week goes to Pun Kindle. We don't really do this, but it made me laugh, so I threw it in here. And that's everything you need to know from the OTB Open. Follow the disc golf world to not miss out on any disc golf news. Thanks to everyone who watched the final round with Swiss and I live. We're planning on doing this every final round, so hopefully we see more people in the chat for the Portland Open. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the boys while we do our best to recap all things disc golf for you. Huge shout out to each and every one of our Patreon and YouTube members for going above and beyond helping out the channel. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we love. So you guys are truly the best disc generates in the game, and we appreciate you.